Hello, good evening, and welcome to this special edition of Nationwide at 6, which is coming to you here on NDTV from the streets of the national capital. And if you got up today thinking that it's quite cold and the lovely pink winters of Delhi are here, well, don't be mistaken. The fog, the smog, the haze that you saw is the deadly toxic concoction of pollution, which has in fact once again plummeted the AQI levels in the national capital to over severe. If I see on my watch right now, it says 482, and beyond 500, it doesn't tell you anything. But if you have any app or in your house, if you start your air purifier, at places it will take you up to 700 or 800. And I wonder at this time, while this is possibly one of the most important things that our politicians, our policymakers should be speaking about, what we see is them busy clicking selfies with Lionel Messi. Yes, the GOAT is in Delhi, but I wonder what his lungs would be going through at this moment when he is outside in open meeting fans. Ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, this is an air emergency. And here on NDTV, we have started our campaign, Save Our Children, Save the Lungs. Data, one after another, will keep telling you that the situation is extremely bad. I want to, in fact, very quickly just give you a sense of what has happened in the last 5 days in the national capital. December 10th, the AQI levels were 280, and many would say thank God for that, because usually AQI levels are over 500. 11th, it went up to 390. Then on December 12th, 432. December 13th, it went up to 446. December 14th, 500, 499. And on December 15th, it is now hovering around 482 on the official average AQI meter. You would see it, in fact, as 457. Now, this is, death by every breath, almost as if we have been subjected to this entire problem, and with every breath that you are taking away few important seconds, minutes, hours of your life, of your loved ones, of your children. I want to very quickly at this moment just tell you some very alarming statistics. The respiratory illness crisis in the national capital is only going up. In 2022-24, there were 2 lakh patients which were reported in Delhi suffering from respiratory illnesses. 2022 to 2024, there have been more than 30,000 hospitalizations because people are gasping for breath. 2024, there have been 68,411 cases of emergency where people, young, old, children, those who have checked in various hospitals in spate of emergency. In 2024 itself, there have been 10,819 hospitalizations. In 2023, 68,293 hospitals patients were reported, which was up from 67,054 patients which are reported in 2022. Let me also, ask for your forgiveness, ladies and gentlemen, because you would be joining us from all across the country. My mask keeps slipping. I am fogging up, but that's the peril of reporting in a city which is eating away our lungs. There is some important news at least coming in. And remember, if you are a regular viewer of Nationwide, every day I have been showing you where the Union Environment Minister, Mr. Bhupendra Yadav, has been busy, while he should have been on an emergency basis speaking to all the stakeholders in the national capital. Now, finally, news coming in that the Union Minister has called for a meeting. The Union Minister has called for a meeting and has, in fact, asked for strict implementation of air review action plans of Ghaziabad, Noida, and these are aimed to try and tackle the NCR region pollution. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, the Union Minister is possibly doing something that he should have been doing for the last at least a couple of months. What I will do today, I will speak to people, those who are suffering, because, you know, we get these politicians, they come, they throw some data on our face, tell us that we are doing our level best, but is that enough? So while, at least thankfully, in the parliament today, Rahul Gandhi spoke a couple of days back about pollution, and the Congress party has been demanding a full debate on the pollution issue in the parliament. So rather than, and I said it on the day when Vande Mataram was being discussed, possibly the important issue was pollution. Hopefully, the government will have some sort of, awakening, and we will have a discussion in the parliament where concrete measures can be discussed. I want you to listen in to some of the reactions, and when you come back, we will have women, mothers, extremely worried about their children's health, and also leading doctors who will give you a sense of how bad the situation is. Listen in to what the politicians had to say.
प्रदूषण का स्तर ये है कि आप बंद कमरे में हैं तब भी चारों तरफ धुंध छाई हुई है, कमरों के अंदर तक जो है स्मॉग दिख रही है। और उससे भी बड़ी दुर्भाग्य की बात यह है कि दिल्ली वाले किसकी तरफ देखें कि इसके अंदर कुछ किया जाएगा। उस मुख्यमंत्री की तरफ जिनको AQI भी नहीं बोलना आता, वो मुख्यमंत्री जो कहते हैं कि AQI और टेम्परेचर एक चीज़ है, वो मुख्यमंत्री जो कहते हैं कि AQI को तो किसी भी इंस्ट्रूमेंट से नापा जा सकता है, वो मुख्यमंत्री जो ये कह रही हैं कि AQI को कम करने का एक ही तरीका है कि पानी की छिड़काव करी जाए। मतलब आप सोचिए, दिल्ली देश की राजधानी की ऐसी मुख्यमंत्री 4 साल तक क्या उम्मीद करेंगे कि आप ये मुख्यमंत्री कुछ कर पाएगी। बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण बात है।
बहुत ज़्यादा, हद से ज़्यादा खराब हो गया है और हम लोगों को डिस्कस करना चाहिए। मैं आज वो डिस्कशन का परमिशन भी का वो लगाऊंगी नोटिस।
अगर वर्तमान पोल्यूशन की बात करें तो इसका सीधा दारोमदार अरविंद केजरीवाल की सरकार पर है, जो 10 साल दिल्ली में जिन्होंने शासन किया लेकिन प्रदूषण पर एक भी कदम नहीं उठाया। इसके कारण से दिल्ली बदहाल स्थिति में पहुंच गई। वर्तमान में हमारी सरकार जब से दिल्ली में बनी है तब तक सारे कदम हम उठा रहे हैं पॉल्यूशन कम करने के, लेकिन 10 साल में जितनी बदहाली होगी उसको ठीक करने में थोड़ा समय ज़रूर लगेगा। और इस नाते से दिल्ली के लोगों को स्वच्छ वातावरण मिले और स्वच्छ हवा मिले, ये हमारी प्रतिबद्धता है और इस काम को हम जल्द से जल्द पूरा करें।
पोल्यूशन दिल्ली में और आसपास में बढ़ रहा है, इसको लेकर एक डीप स्ट्रेटेजी प्लान दिल्ली सरकार बना रही है और शॉर्ट टर्म के जो भी उपाय हैं उनके ऊपर भी काम हो रहा है। दिल्ली सरकार पूरा प्रयत्न कर रही है, लेकिन पूरी स्टडी करके इसके इफेक्टिव स्टेप उठाने की तैयारी में दिल्ली सरकार है। तो जल्दी ही जनता को इसके बारे में उठाए हुए कदम और जो भी हम काम करेंगे उसकी जानकारी दी जाएगी।
Now, try and understand, when I speak about pollution and we are speaking about it here, the fact is, ladies and gentlemen, that it's possibly not an issue that makes you win or lose elections, and that is why our netas don't care. They only care about the things that ensure a victory in politics, and till the time that happens, possibly pollution and what we are suffering is going to be on the back burner always. You can see behind me at this moment, Dr. Bagai is here, leading, in fact, doctor here in the national capital, and also with him a lot of young mothers, their children, all of them who have been masked up, because if you are not masked up, you are actually literally breathing poison. Dr. Bagai, let me begin with you. Yes, last time, in fact, in the parliament, the government went on and said that, there is no credible data that links pollution to deaths. There is no credible data. They said that, the AQI, which the WHO suggests, that is just an indicative thing. India has its own AQI, which is already 8 times higher than the WHO prescribed one. Is this the government telling us that we can shut our eyes and the problem will go away? Let's not recognize the data, and hence we will invent our own scale. We will do our own studies. Data after data suggests that there is a critical link to pollution and people actually losing many years of their lives.
Good evening. So there is enough data in the international sphere, which has been peer reviewed. It's multicentric control trials. It's published in very authentic and creditable journals. More than 7,000 articles exist, in which more than 200 articles are completely India-based. Some of them are purely Delhi-based. So what do they state? They state that India is losing between 1.7 going up to more than 2 million. Some studies have said 3 million Indians every year. We lost approximately 5 to 6 lakh during the COVID in 4 years. In apple-to-apple comparison, we are losing almost 16 COVID times death every year. Wow. There is published data in which there is histopathological evidence that this is causing damage to the brains, early dementia, attention deficit disorders, autism. It's causing damage to the unborn fetus. Pregnancies are getting impacted even 1 year before conception. Children are being born with structural abnormalities, including congenital hearts, absent kidneys. There is an increase in cancer risk. There's a 29% risk in asthma, bronchitis, bone disease, increased 200 times risk of obesity, hypertension, acute heart attacks, and indeed diabetes mellitus. There is overwhelming evidence that this causes death. Air pollution causes death. And it's not limited to PM 2.5. It's the microfine particles, even the particulate matter of plastic, hazardous gases such as methane, other compounds such as hydrofluorocarbons, volatile organic compounds, and heavy metals. I'll just add one last line. The heavy metals catalyze, that means oxidize the microparticles of plastic to make them super ions, and therefore the long-term damage, including infertility.
If this doesn't scare you, nothing else will. I mean, we keep talking about health fads, this and that, but this is a problem which needs to be, in fact, on an emergency level, needs to be tackled, spoken about. Ma'am, you know, when you hear what Dr. Bagai was saying, and I was just thinking about myself, but people, those who have children, you have young children here, this must be a nightmare, isn't it?
I mean, honestly, I think there is literally a term called pollution anxiety, you know, living, especially, and what baffles me is we are in the capital of the country. And if this is the situation and this is the apathy, what do we even expect of the other parts of the country, right? And when you are talking about 16 times the number of deaths of COVID is happening every year silently, and nobody cares. It makes me shudder. And what are we doing to our children? Really, like they don't make the pollution, but they are facing the brunt of it. From the moment they are born, or even before they are born, like Dr. Saab said, they are breathing in this air. And we are literally poisoning our kids from the day they're born.
You know, I remember my childhood. There was, at least we didn't have this problem. I was not. Hi, what's your name?
Veer.
You know, it's sad to see such a young child wearing a mask coming out.
They are not even allowed to come out of the lobby per se because the air purifier works there. So they are not permitted to leave the house.
You think that, you know, they are being robbed of their childhood?
And sometimes I feel, you know, some of the, let's say, you know, we people can afford an air purifier.
Yeah.
Maybe 90%, 95% of the people can't even afford that. And they have newborns, they have elderly in the house, they can't breathe. I mean, our country is not giving us air to breathe. Forget everything else.
You know, we talk about basic necessities, but like she said, air to breathe. Can I ask you, how has life changed? Is there an adjustment that people make to their day-to-day activity, at least those who are aware about getting out, even with your, you know, the schedule of your children, so on and so forth? Is there a sense where you have to change your lifestyle to try and figure out the least impact that you will have of the pollution?
It's very sad because we've grown up hearing how important outdoors is for children, being out in the sun, playing, getting a sensory sense of sand, rain, air, but instead our children are sitting locked in their houses because that's what's safest for them at this point. So that's incredibly sad. Our children are locked indoors. They don't get to enjoy playgrounds. They don't get to meet their friends in play schools, and they're just in closed rooms.
Is there a sense that, you know, forget not enough, nothing is being done as far as air pollution is concerned?
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, my son is like 11 years old and he's thinking of the boarding options at now. And, you know, he has come up with the schools that, Papa, I don't want to stay here anymore because he enjoys football. He can't go out of the football. I remember the last night we were in Tirumala and the AQI was 86 and we were stocking up the oxygen like that we won't get in Delhi. So my kids are like the three essentials of every kid's house are steamer, inhaler and the air purifiers, and they're just locked in the rooms.
You know why this is a sad thing? Just look at these. They are such young children, and all of them will have to, they can't even step out of their house without wearing a mask. I remember when I was growing up, it was not even a thing. Maybe we were not aware, maybe the pollution was not as bad, but it was not even a thing. I could go out whenever I wanted. Dr. Bagai, very quickly, Bimlendu is also with me. I want to go across. Yep. But before that, can I ask all of you, has the thought of leaving the city crossed your mind?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Multiple times.
If our livelihoods did not depend on it, our families weren't here, all our roots weren't here, we would all up and leave. But the fact that you're being forced to think, it's unfair, isn't it? Like, why should we have to leave what is called home because the air is so bad? Like, it sounds insane to me, but it really is.
Yeah, I'm just coming.
Almost 12 to 20% of all cause mortality, that means any death for any reason and every reason in India, is now related, according to the Lancet World Studies, because of air pollution. This is actually causing damage to our DNA. That means our chromosomes are getting damaged. That means our next generation is getting damaged. We can't afford to give this legacy to our children. If we can manage COVID, and I have full faith in this government, if the epidemic and pandemic of the size of COVID can be managed in India, and reasonably well, I must add, we can definitely tide this over. We need a separate ministry to combat air pollution. It should be called as Ministry of Clean Air. Make it accountable to the parliament, make it accountable to the public at large. Set small goals every 6 months and see where the results are. But this has to be monitored 12 months a year, not only in winter.
No, but we have seen governments after government, forget which party in power, governments after government, there are enough and more talk about it, there are plans about it, nothing is implemented. The problem actually is, at least I think so, the problem actually is not about a different ministry. Even the existing mechanisms are not being put in place. GRAP 4 is at this moment in Delhi in place. That means there is absolute ban on construction. I can walk with you 100 meters either side and you will see some building. The construction work will be going on. Yeah. We can't even get our basics even at the time when we are in fact dealing with an air emergency. I very quickly want to also go across to Bimlendu Jha, environmentalist, is known for continuously in fact campaigning, making noise around this. Bimlendu, we would have loved to have you here with us, but tell me very quickly, is it that difficult? Government after government failing as far as pollution is concerned, and then coming out and saying that, you know what, there is no credible data, so don't worry. Keep breathing the air that is prevailing at this moment. Don't worry about it. Once we have concrete data, we'll start taking action.
Ankit, I don't think the government has actually failed, because failure would be when you make an effort, then you fail. Here, reality is that they have not even made an effort. If you look at all the state governments and now the central government, largely, their idea is that there's no pollution, one. That the AQI standards of India is very, very different. We need to have our own standards. The other submission that was made in the parliament is that no one dies or no one falls ill because of air pollution. And then of course the air quality monitors, what you were reporting, peaks out at 500. 38 out of 39 air quality monitors in Delhi has peaked out despite water being sprinkled, despite it being turned off. So and reality is that of course you doing this show and I'm sitting in Delhi as well right now. The reality is that 90% of India's air is polluted. So it's so unfortunate that the parliament session is going on, and despite that, nobody finds, our political class doesn't find time to really discuss something and find a solution. This is something which is the most important thing, and I think it is party agnostic. I'm not talking about whether it should be an Aam Aadmi party or a Congress party or BJP. The fact is that if national air is polluted, the national government, which is the central government, needs to really show its intent, and that's completely missing. I haven't really heard from the Prime Minister of our country. Absolutely. When AQI today is 800 in most part of Delhi NCR, and children are crying for help. So for heaven's sake, I don't know what will shake.
Bimlendu, stay on with me. if you think that the whole purpose of this program is to scare you, give you bad news, well, you are right. I want you to be scared. I want you to be absolutely scared of the fact of what air pollution is doing to us. If you think this is negative news, you would not enjoy, switch on, watch some movie, because this is the reality that we are living in. I just very quickly want to put out another set of data for you, ladies and gentlemen. And this is specific to Delhi. What is the air pollution doing to your lungs? 40% of Delhi residents have reduced lung function. Please go to any pulmonologist, get yourself checked, if whether you are in that 40% category or not. Over 20 lakh kids, in fact, show signs of lung damage in the national capital. Chances of respiratory disease are much higher than any other city. 4 to 8 months in Delhi air is leading to chronic lung inflammation. 1 year in Delhi air. So if I am walking around, for 4 to 8 months in Delhi, that gives me chronic lung inflammation. 1 year in this polluted air reduces your lung functioning capacity. The source of what I have said is the IJHSR study. And WHO says that air pollution now is a #1 cancer-causing, in fact, agent because of the various gases and other elements in it. Air pollution is in the same category as tobacco. So if we would have been standing here without a mask, I don't know how much this mask saves us, but technically we are smoking 40 to 50 cigarettes by every hour exposed to this air pollution. A Gangaram hospital study tells us that there are, in the age group as young as 20 to 35, young people, those who have never smoked, the percentage of those non-smokers, lung cancer patients are increasing. This is absolutely alarming. Dr. Bagai, has any of this data, is it just, painting the picture much grimmer than it is? Or are we even still erring at the side of caution? It is actually much worse than what we are talking about.
So again, published data states that every 10 microgram increase in PM 2.5, I'm not even talking of the other co-pollutants, has a direct impact of 12,000 extra deaths per year in Delhi. Air pollution, all pollutants put together, the death rate is more than 1 lakh extra deaths in Delhi per year. The real fact is that we are living in a Marlboro country. We don't need to smoke. The never smokers have a 20% increased risk of lung cancer in a year. And let me tell you, pollution is not only winter driven. It's all through the year, but we want to talk about it in winter, which is really sad. But the AQI all through the year is much above any norm. Yeah. Is equivalent to smoking 6,000 to 7,000 cigarettes a year for never smokers.
I want to talk about the indoor-outdoor pollution as well, but very quickly, tell me one thing. You're a resident of this area. How difficult it is for you to try and reconcile with the fact that every day, while you live in the national capital, you're actually reducing your life. It's almost, all of us are committing mass suicide by every minute, second that we are losing our lives exposed to this pollution.
So we are residents. We commonly share the ridge area. We're from Vasant Kunj, and I also wanted to highlight that while we are continuously battling environmental issues which are going to cause long impacting, health issues, we are residents of an area where, the government is allowing a morphological ridge to be cut so that a private builder can construct 9 floors, towers of 9 floors, 3 towers in the middle of a DDA colony. So he's going to be cutting all our trees, digging deep in like 60 feet, into the ground to construct more and more of, concrete spaces that we'll have. That effectively takes away all the old trees, all the green patch, the light, the sunlight, and a minimum 5 years of dust pollution and I would say discomfort. So if we can't offer you solution, we can make the things worse, Dr. Bagai. That seems to be the solution.
So 2 years back, there was a particular person, I won't take the name because the case is sub judice in the High Court and with NGT, cut off more than 500 to 600 60-year-old trees. And this case, I was the petitioner, I have taken him to court, and hopefully the judgment should come in the favor not of me, but to maintain our green environment. If we as common citizens don't look after our environment, the nature is not going to look after us. That's the bottom line.
Do you feel, ma'am, like I said, because we have a voice, we have the resources, all of us can still wear a mask, put air purifiers in our house. There are millions of people, living exposed to pollution 24/7. It's because of their work, because of anything else. But the fact is that our voice is not the vote that, in fact, gets these political parties into action. Do you feel that they don't care because they think that, these people won't go out and vote, it doesn't matter?
I think, unfortunately, it's just...
Yeah.
I think, no one really truly understands the effects of what the air pollution is doing to us. So I think if there is more awareness, and if the government does take it seriously, I think it would matter.
I've been saying this continuously in our coverage. It's not a Delhi-specific problem that we can keep blaming the Chief Minister of Delhi. I can't blame only the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh or Haryana or Rajasthan or Punjab or all the adjoining areas. Largely, if you look at the 10 most polluted cities in the country, 8 out of those 10 are in the northern Gangetic belt. So all this, the central government will have to take initiatives. Vimlendu, is it because, ministers can afford 10 air purifiers in one room and hence are possibly getting better air than Switzerland, and they don't care? They don't care for all of us. They don't care for these children. They don't care for millions who do not have access to masks or anything else.
I think, Ankit, yes, as in that's the reason why we haven't seen that kind of a proportionate action by our political class. At least this year, there have been more and more protests. Of course, people like us have been protesting and shouting forever. And as you rightly said, this is nothing to do with Delhi. Your office is in Noida now. I live in Gurgaon. And the reality is that why just Delhi, Gurgaon and Delhi NCR? This problem is a pan-India problem. We have normalized 200 AQI as if 200 is okay. Mumbai also has 200. Calcutta also has 200. In fact, 60% to 70% of India's air is not even measured. So I think when we have the data glaring at us in terms of death, mortality and morbidity, the impact that this has on economy, also in terms of solution, it's very, very low hanging. What we have ended up doing is that we have, your screen is showing these GRAP and GRAP 1 and GRAP 2. GRAP is not a solution. Then we have thought, and our political class, our government tells us that GRAP is as if it's a solution. It's just an emergency response. It's just a band-aid while we need surgery. And for our courts also to only put emphasis only on GRAP, like, imagine what the other lady was talking about, morphological ridge. Reality is that when entire region is suffering air quality mess that we are in, we are actually compromising on our Aravalis as well. Now the entire Aravali area is going to be compromised because we don't even want to call it a hill. So we have to look at it consolidated. We have to look at the thermal power plants. If we are not following the emission standards of the coal thermal power plants in 300 square kilometer radius, every time people tell me and people ask me that how did Beijing do it? Beijing did it because they realized that GDP and economic growth and development is not extremely important. It is important, but not at the cost of human lung and human health. And what they did is that they actually spent $1 billion each year for almost a decade, versus we spent 20,000 crore is what we have allocated over 6 years, which comes to 3,000 crore for 130 cities. So if you don't allocate money, if your parliament doesn't discuss it, if you don't know who your environment minister is, if your environment minister in CJI doesn't know what AQI means, and you think that GRAP is called a measure, then you are in a crappy situation hiding behind GRAP.
Absolutely. You put it very, very well. If Beijing can do it, so can Delhi. But the problem is that there has to be a holistic approach. You can't look at it at just a Delhi-specific. Pollution doesn't recognize borders. You can shut down the coal and the factories and the power generation plant in Delhi. What about 150 kilometers from here, where there are, in fact, coal power generating plants which are also contributing to this air? The lady behind me is coughing, and that is the problem that this entire city is facing. Before I go back and have like a final word to these absolutely wonderful people, those who are, trust me, braving it out for you, ladies and gentlemen. They have come out of their houses just to talk about this, so that all of us, and hopefully, because the parliament session is on, the Parliament of Delhi is just about 10 kilometers from where I'm standing at this moment. Their voice can reach there, and tomorrow we could hopefully have some sort of a discussion on how to tackle this problem on a national level. But before I do that, I want to tell you, don't believe anyone or any government or any data that comes out and tells you that pollution doesn't kill. In India and China, more than 2 million deaths have been attributed to air pollution or symptoms because of air pollution in 2023 itself. In 2023, 36% low and middle income countries face the largest burden. We are among them. 2023, 7.9 million global deaths, and the second leading risk for early deaths is because of pollution. Dementia is attributed to air pollution. 1 in 2, in fact, COVID deaths because of air pollution. 1 in 4 heart disease deaths because of air pollution. 1 in 4 dementia-related deaths because of air pollution. And 1 in 6 diabetes-related deaths, situation accentuated because of the air pollution mitigated factors. Dr. Bagai, let me ask you this in conclusion. We keep talking about where we are standing. People will be surprised to hear that not just the air outside, the indoor pollution is also a very, very dangerous trend which all of us in our houses are facing.
So indoor air pollution is actually a part reflection of what air exists outside. Not everyone in India is fortunate enough to have a centralized air purification plant or indeed room by room air purifiers. Look at the people on the roads, look at the street children, look at the policemen, look at the people look at professionals like us. We have to go from one place to another place. So air pollution indoor is a very, very important component. It's almost about 25 to 35% of the overall impact on the body. It includes odors, it includes mold, it includes carpets, it includes gases which are even
the paint that you use in your house,
even the paint, even the agarbattis which people use, or even indeed the chicken fumes or the kitchen fumes which are emitted. So indoor air pollution is extremely important. People don't talk about it, but it's very, very existent, and it does harm, more so for the elderlies and the newborns because they are only indoors. So in this time, in winter, 30 years back, people used to say, let's go to North India and we'll have good health. But in winter now, people are saying, let's go out of Delhi to save our health. So it's a sad reflection on our own society.
Sure, but can I ask you, because, I don't want to let go of you without giving our viewers at least some sense, some precaution that they can take. It's almost that we have been condemned to live in this situation. Little, 5-6 things that we must keep in mind to try and minimize the impact that it is having on us.
So identify the vulnerables. The most vulnerable are the smaller children under the age of 5, even up to the age of 10, and the elderlies and people with comorbidities. So your risk of mortality and morbidity is much higher if you are a known hypertensive or a heart disease, post-liver transplant, kidney transplant, diabetes, obesity, and so on, and smokers. But having said that, if you have to go out during the pollution time or the more polluted time, that's early morning and late evening, it's a lot to do with relative humidity. So your PM 2.5 tends to settle down because of the dew, and it's more inhalable at that level. So wear a mask, wear a well-fitting N95 mask. Don't wear a cloth mask, it doesn't work. And more importantly is if you have a past history of wheezers or hyperallergic, do take your inhaler. Very important is don't self-medicate yourself with medication at home. And all your herbal medicines, home remedies really don't work. So consult your doctor, stay safe.
Do whatever you can. I'm so sorry you were coughing. Are you all right?
Yeah.
Tell me one thing. Is school as fun now with the mask and, sometimes work from school from home?
Sometimes because it's always in the afternoons hot.
Can you go out in school and play?
Yes.
You can?
Well, sometimes.
Sometimes.
When the pollution's down.
Would you like to play more, go out?
Yeah.
If the pollution is better?
Yeah.
Would you like to tell the Environment Minister and the Prime Minister, do something about pollution for us, please?
Meaning?
Tell them, ask them to make this situation better, do something about it.
Tell them. That's okay. Just repeat what you said.
I wanna, it's all right. I'm sorry all of you had to come out. Look at this cute reindeer. Is it a reindeer? Is it a doggy? What is it?
It's a reindeer.
It's a reindeer. Because of Christmas you are wearing this?
Yes.
Yeah? Do you like wearing a mask?
No.
No? Would you want to play without a mask?
Yes.
Yes? So we should get rid of the mask, right? The air should be better.
Yes.
Yes. For God's sakes, do something for them. I mean, they have a full life ahead of them. What's your name?
My name is Samarth.
Samarth, you have a lovely mask that you're wearing. What is this mask called? What is it called? Pretty and Petty and Friends? Pretty and Friends? What is it called?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's written here.
Honestly, I can't pronounce it myself.
Sorry?
Honestly, I can't pronounce it myself.
Okay, tell me one thing. Is it difficult wearing a mask, to breathe in a mask?
Yes, very difficult.
It is difficult. Would you want to be without the mask? It's easier to breathe.
Yes, because all the time when my mother tells me to wear a mask, mostly I try to take it off, but I have to wear it.
Oh, she forces you to wear a mask.
Yes.
But you know it's very, very dangerous to be outside without a mask, so you have to wear one.
Yes.
Yeah? Oh, hi, what's your name? You are also wearing a Mickey Mouse mask.
My name is Tejas.
Just tell me one thing. Do you like wearing a mask?
Not at all.
Whether it's Mickey Mouse or anything else?
Not at all. I
Not
don't
at
like
all?
them.
Would you want to go out and play with your friends? Are you allowed to go out and play with your friends?
Not in school or at home. I'm only allowed to go like in indoor spaces. Not allowed to go outside at all.
Only indoor play scenes, not outdoor, right?
Yeah.
Difficult. And you know why it is? Why does your mom, your dad, they don't let you?
Yeah, because of the air pollution, it's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's really bad.
Do you talk about it? Do you kids in your class, do you talk about air pollution?
Yeah, even this morning we were talking about it.
What were you talking about?
We were talking about how high it was, and that it's not good.
That should be the last thing that children so young should be talking about. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Adhira.
Adhira. Do you know your class, your friends, do you talk about air pollution?
No.
No, you don't?
No.
Are you worried about air pollution when you see your friends wearing a mask?
Yes.
You are? Would you want this situation to get better?
Yes.
It's heartbreaking. Come here. Your glasses are fogged up. And your mask has your name. What's your name?
Aryan.
Aryan. Your fogged up glasses, I kept mine. It is difficult, right, to wear a mask and have your glasses on?
Yeah.
Yeah? How do you manage?
First, I keep on cleaning my glasses.
Keep cleaning your glasses. Such a terrible problem to have. Hello! Glasses are dirty? Both of you are identically dressed.
What?
They're brothers.
Yes.
Wearing a mask?
Yes.
Don't take it off.
You can't take it out.
See? Mama is going to scold you if you take it out. You know why you are wearing a mask?
Because it's very bad. AQI in the full earth.
Oh, the AQI is bad.
Yes.
How old are you?
5.
Oh God, Mama is watching you. You've taken the mask off. He's gonna get worried. You know, it's... Hello, what's your name?
Meera.
Meera, tell me one thing. Is school as fun, in winters as it used to be, or is it fun with the mask on?
No, today we weren't even allowed to go into the corridors.
You were not even allowed into corridors. You were stuck in the classes.
Yeah.
So no playtime, no going out, no break.
We were only allowed to eat in the class, and it was very cramped, and we could see the smog outside. It was very dense.
It was. You know, it's a tough job for the mothers, for the parents to try and keep telling their children to keep the mask on. For somebody, how old is he? He's just 5 years old. And for him to understand air pollution, put that mask on, keep it there. It's, like I said, for God's sake, for nobody else, do something for them. They have a full life ahead of them so that they can live in this. Delhi used to be fun. Delhi is my favorite city. I've grown up here. It used to be, isn't it? Delhi's...
I think of moving out of Delhi. That's how much I love. But where every evening, every night, hitting the, bed, hitting the, putting your head on the pillow, you do have these thoughts in your mind that we need to do something about it. But I love Delhi. I would never want to, trade this city for any other place because it's so green. I mean, if you look at it compared to Mumbai and others, but we're in a very
Winters in Delhi used to be something that people used to look forward to, right?
You know, these kids don't even know what are winter picnics, children's day picnics. They will never see. I don't know, maybe in the future we hope they will, but they've not seen that.
I think
And
The Lodhi garden picnics, near India Gate, all that is gone. Sundar Nursery.
Because it was monsoons, then it's pollution. We don't have winters. The season should be called pollution.
You've seen India Gate?
Yes.
This was the time actually to go to Nehru Park and
Yes.
enjoy. Go to Nehru Park, enjoy, and the point that you were talking about initially, that across, if you just walk down the lane, it's just outright violation of rules and regulations that even citizens are doing.
You want to say something?
Me as a child, I honestly think that the pollution should be better. Staying locked indoors at school too. I mean, even in physical education, either we stay in the class or stay in the gym. Only on very special occasions when like the pollution is very low. Then only we're allowed to go to the field, play. Mostly we're stuck in the gym.
So that's the problem, right?
I just want to leave it with what he said. As a child, he's saying that even in the physical education class, they are not allowed to go out. They're stuck in the gym, they're stuck in the classrooms. This is not the childhood that any parent would want for their children. For God's sakes, it's time to wake up and smell the coffee. I thought you had something.
Yeah, in fact, I'm just thinking this sheet. My daughter made it last
You made it?
And
Can you read it out for me? Can you read it out for me?
Wait,
Yeah.
we deserve the right to breathe without fear.
Can I leave it with this board? All of us, and especially them, they deserve the right to breathe without fear of catching a disease, without a mask, a childhood which is free at least of conversation around pollution. Thank you so much for taking the time out. It's been an absolute pleasure, honor
Thank you. Appreciate
for all of you to take this time out. And thank you so much. I'm hoping that the politicians have heard this and we would hopefully be able to see some action in the next few days, months to tackle this pollution problem. I'm slipping into a very short break. I'm coming back with much more on the other side. Stay tuned.